Hello, welcome back. This is the 27th episode, and we're going to jump right into the project here. And we can go ahead and start from the start here. Let's see. We did some harmonies on the last one. Let's just go ahead and start playing through here. So we have our light opener. We have the cellos kick in. We have the stem texture going on. We can go ahead and hide the volume automation. I believe we're done with that. Let's go pull up our mixer. I feel like the clarinets could be doing a little bit more for this section. The velocity is already pretty high. Alright, so we got quite the range on this. Let's go ahead and keep moving it up. That way it supports some of the higher harmonic stuff going on there. So we didn't have to adjust the fader volume at all on that one. As a matter of fact, we can bring it down just so it's even. I try not to crush too much of the headroom. And there was a moment with the bassoon. It was hitting just a little bit too hard, so let's drop this just a little bit. Feeling. Let's go ahead and switch just to staccato and try that again. Actually, let me put that back. Maybe that was the correct one. Sure was not. There we go. Let's do the same trick as before. Wow. I think this is more appropriate. It gives a little bit more depth to it. If I go up and like it's pretty much unison, we're losing a little bit. Gotcha. here. Okay. Alright, and so just to make sure we're playing nicely. So that's sustain, and then it goes to staccato at the end. Okay, so that is all we needed to know. As long as this doesn't set it back to sustain. That one is lost in space, so. Alright. We do have a couple more instruments to go ahead and add on. So we have a tuba, the double bass, a piccolo, and flutes. So let's go ahead and find a nice tuba. Gotcha. And we'll give some of these a shot, since they don't have previews for us. Start off with Session Horns Pro. We're essentially copying the cello part. like if I go faster than that, like, I feel like it's just not as sticky. Let's give it a shot. Let's give some back. You know, and I am starting on the second verse there, it looked like. Unless I do some sort of section. So let's back out of this. Let's go to Tuba as essential. Kind of sounds like our big old synth over there. Maybe something like that. We're just trying stuff out. If I could only just play piano. See if we can get that right. maybe something like that. Get a little further out of the box. True, I did the ensemble so I could do both. Well, I'm getting the idea. That would be kind of the riff. That's a little bit more of a flowing pulse. I don't know. I'm not really sold on any of these yet. And we were having some luck with the contact one, so maybe we'll give that a quick shot. And just see what happens with it. It's weird. Well, despite that, so weird. Let's try. Wonder how big of an issue this is going to cause. All right, I'm going to pull something out. For whatever reason, we should be back. Yeah, it looks like it's working on there. All right. Weird. Let's see. Go ahead and give it a save since it's acting up. And I think we're going to pop in right around verse 1 here for this. I think I like the one before this better. So let's meet in the middle and do Tuba Essential. higher tightness, middle ground release. Interesting. That tightness is really murdering this thing. Alright, well, I think that's the part we're going to end up using. Okay, I'm kind of getting an idea of how we can drift through there. Okay. We're just going to pulse it through the whole thing here. I don't know. Maybe the staccato is not the way to go on this one. Just droning it. You know, we're gonna move on. Let's go pick out the double bass, and then we will come back for this pesky tuba. Carve out a little bit more of an a niche for it, because right now when I use a staccato, I kind of like that it's doing the quarter note pulses. I feel like that's neat, but I just don't feel like it's contributing very much that's helpful. Then when I stretch it out, I'm just holding that drone for way too long, which is not the point of it. So I think let's jump into an upright bass. Not quite what we're looking for. I think I'm gonna go to bowed strings and then here. Yeah, I like the Cuba, but it's not quite what we're looking for. I don't know. It is a fun instrument. This one is one of my favorite stand-up basses to play with on here, but we're really looking for something a little bit more classical oriented. Let's run something like this. Interesting. Yeah, that's a little closer. Yep. You already know. Now, is this where we want to come in? Kind of getting narrowed down to the part we want to do. There's a little bit of a tightness we can adjust on this one here. Just a little bit. I'm just curious what the bow noise would be. All right. When we said we wanted it dry, we really did want it dry. This is fine. Wow, the bow noise is heavy on the higher notes. Alright. Let's just run it back and do it very drone-like. Let's just cut and paste at some point here. And it's getting a little tripped up there. Of course, that's okay. We can fix it. So, let's go in here and let's double these up. I don't feel like cleaning that up. Let's just go ahead and play it closer. And we'll have to adjust better when we want to quantize. I don't think we should be playing over there anyways. What the heck happened with this? It auto-muted? What is going on with the bassoon? I hit a button or something? That was just strange. Alright. For real. So let's take all this, go down to eighth notes. Go over here. It's all landing on eighths. So let's try to quantize it like that. See if this gives us a little more accuracy. Alright, I get it. Alright. So for this bridge section, let's see if we can't. Alright. Hit the Windows button. You know, let's bring this up to here. That way, after this descends, it can linger on the low one, verse 3. Bring in the stereo with maybe. I'm just gonna bring down the volumes just a little bit. I feel like we're really blasting it. I'm just trying to get a good volume where it's not going to be overpowering. I still want that synth that's going wild. I want that to really have the focus. Excuse me. Trying to hide it. There's a loud clicking whenever I open a new one. Let's see. Let's find ourselves. Ending's got to change. I don't know about that one. Let's try this one. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know. I think that might be something to hold on to, is those little ba-da-da-da-ba-da-da-da. Just want to make sure it fires incorrectly here. I liked in that drop. Let's bring back our other instruments. Let's say we followed that main trumpet part. I think was it trumpet 1 is the higher one? Let's make sure piccolo is still perfect. All right. Well, let's go ahead and open up our flutes. I believe the alto sax would have the harmonized part, so let's try that out. Let's just see what happens if we added that to our flute channel. Classic. I think we'll go one more octave up. Let's bring our piccolo back down. Oh, my bad. There is a whole lot of stuff hanging off the end of that, though. Let's jump back into this dang tuba. I just not love that tuba. We don't have to add it. We can always remove it. Let me do something crazy. Let me take that double bass part, put it on the tuba. Use it as a little extra support, maybe? Interesting. liking that a little better. Okay. Might just leave the tuba out of that part. Goodbye. Okay. Let's give the full thing a listen. Camera check's doing fine. Perfect. About at an hour here, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Let's bring these over. Oh boy. There's one. There's two. We'll finish fitting up the piccolo and the flute, and I think we're going to call it there. And then when we come back, we'll be focusing on like the processing side of it. Oh, I know. That's not going to work for you, is it? So we're looking at the piccolo. Let's pull up the instrument. Hmm. This might be the time for it. Ooh, piccolo, piccolo, piccolo. Alright, let's see. C1. Not even there yet. I like it, but I want it higher. Wasn't there a dynamics knob there just a moment ago? Maybe there wasn't. Okay. Fair enough. So let's see here. Let's open up the plugin. Staccato. was hoping that would change it. All right. Kind of like that decrescendo. Wish. I'm not worried about adding it. All right. Not exactly what I wanted either. You know, let me actually look at the other pattern before we get too far in, because I feel like this one had more of a variance to the velocity, and I just want to keep that. I always forget to change the color. We'll go blue for a note. And so I'm just imagining on there is maybe on that, on the lower end, just kind of opening up with sort of automation. I'm trying to wrap it up today. I don't want to make these videos so long that no one can keep up with them, especially because I'm doing so many of them a week. And this is honestly a little bit of a slow time for me because, I mean, I totally on my own. I'm not on film or whatever. I mean, I'll just keep coming back to the thing. So I'll work on it for like 2 or 3 hours, and I'll leave, and I'll do something for 30 minutes for an hour, and then I'd come back, and I would spend another 3 hours on it. I've had days where I'll do like 12 hours. When I do it on the camera here, I feel like that's a ridiculous amount of time to be posting, and I feel like there's just no one on earth who wants to sit there and watch me click stuff in for that long. But maybe we'll do like a live or something where it's kind of like a hangout, and I could respond to chats as I just work through it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Well, let's take it from the top. And you know what? This is actually a piano. And we've been muting it. But let's give this a little love. Let's see if we can't use it. Clearly impossible for any human to play. Should we say there's 2 people at the bench? This is a joint team effort? I don't know about that. But what I do think is we could take these, since they're all pretty much the same exact note. I mean, rhythmically. I should be able to stretch them out like this. I think. It would give us a little bit better of a sound. I was just thinking about, I had a mutual friend. I would go out to Miami, and I met this guy. His name is Nick, and he was hilarious. And he was just like a very like regular dude, and he was way into like motorcycles. I remember we met him at a bar, and I was like, "You come here often?" And he's like, "Nah, not really." And then we were gotten talking, and he was talking about just being like hammered, and he's like, "Yeah, I've only probably been hammered here like 50 times." And I was like, "That's not a lot. That's not a lot for you." And then we were hanging out at his place, and he had this, what was it, like a Bugatti motorcycle or something? Is that what it's called? It was just like this super expensive, and I was just like, "Holy hell! Like, how do you afford this?" He's just a server, so I think he just lobbed all of his money into this motorcycle. And I was living in California at the time. And then I got a call, and it was like, "Yo, Nick got into a motorcycle accident, and some lady with a pickup truck, just, I don't know if it's just because she's older or if it's just total, just nothing could have been done. But absolutely just went right in front of him, and he was in the hospital for days, and it was a critical condition. Then I met some dude at the gym. He was just walking by out front and came in, and we started talking. and he was talking about falling off a ladder, getting a traumatic head injury, and he kept saying he has a personal relationship with God. And then I was like, yo, if you got a hookup, like I got my boy Nick, and I swear, like I told him, it's like, yo, just like put up a good word for me if you can. And I just kind of assume he's a crazy person, which he probably likely he has a little brain injury. And then sure enough, like within a couple days, they're like they have no reason. Like Nick came out of it, he woke up, he had like punctured lungs, like he was messed up, and yeah, he was totally fine. I don't know. Crazy things. I haven't talked to Nick in a while. I don't know if he still rides motorcycles, but I imagine he's good for a minute. So that kind of sucks over there. We're just going with whatever on that. We weren't even picking something specific. Look at us now. Is it worth it on the beginning? Let's go look at this piano real quick. Let's see. Oh, you know, I did catch up with Nick like a year or two later, and I went back out to Miami, and we, I don't know, we just had a little party. We were hanging out. It was a good time. We went down to, what is it called? When you go to like the main like Miami hotspot. Oh, let's look it up. What is it called again? Should we do like a Hey Siri? Like just a Miami Beach, like the Strip. It must be South Beach. That must be the name of it. Let's see here. Let's go a little smaller than Dark Plate. Pop piano, that sounds like it can't hurt. And that gives a little more flavor on it. Back into contact with this, see if we can widen this thing out, because I don't think we even touched this. Let's go a little soft right there. I usually like noir more than gentleman. That works for me. A little to the left if I can. Okay. So ignoring the ending, let's just do top to bottom and hear what we hear. This may be the last one where we're really playing with the instruments. I feel like sometimes you can overcook it, and we're getting a little to that point. This might have been a little bit more standout as a simpler thing, but I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, it's just for fun. Like that one needs a big compressor to really let it off a bit outside. And something that's been bothering me for a hot minute is these. Hammering on that piano now. I don't think this is going to be the compressor for that one. Might be helpful after a little bit, just because I do know with all that reverb, and it probably needs a little bit in between just to kind of really stamp it. We could always go with this direction. I was imagining like a 76. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for today's video here. We just kind of went through. We added a couple instruments. We were tweaking a couple things around a little bit. I think we pretty much got this written out. Maybe on the next one we'll mess with the performances just a little bit, but we're really just worried about processing and not so much writing. So thanks for sticking around. If you've seen the other videos and you're catching up, I appreciate the viewership. Feel free to throw me a like or a comment if you have any questions, or you just want to say thank you. Subscribe if you want to see the next ones that are coming out. Otherwise, you guys have a great day, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.